Hey guys, this is my second hero guide, and today we are going over Anakin Skywalker. Anakin is a hero I sometimes like, yet sometimes he frustrates me. His abilities can be very good, but they can also be very buggy, and they can easily be countered by your opponents. Overall, Anakin can be a great hero, and he can be played very well, but he gets played wrong by most people. So today in this video, we are going to be going over everything you see on the screen. Anakin's stats, ability, trooper game modes, and hero game modes. Everything here is designed to let you get a better understanding of the character and to help you learn how to play the hero. So, Anakin has rather average stats, but the main thing is that it isn't necessarily bad. Anakin has good health of 800. 800 is more than most Saber users, only Vader has the same base health. He has the average regen of 250 health. It's not great, so you definitely have to watch your health regen. Anakin cannot be going into a situation carefree in the same way Obi-Wan can. Anakin does regen health pretty quickly, so you won't be waiting too long to get your health back. Anakin's weapon is, of course, the Skywalker Saber. This weapon is very powerful. It does 130 damage to the front and 170 damage to the back. That means it can take care of all infantry except heavies in one hit to the back. So, if you can hit someone in the back, then try to do so. His swing speed is also really fast, so you can take care of enemies quite quickly. Anakin's stamina is okay. Not great. He can attack 12 times and block 10 times. This usually means if you're not careful, you can run out of stamina pretty quickly. He also can't block too many blaster shots, so don't be standing in the way of sentries. But that's pretty much all for his basic stats. So the next section is Anakin Skywalker's abilities. Anakin's abilities are very hit or miss. They can be really good for multi-kills, and they can be great for pulling off combos against other heroes. The problem is that they get easily punished even when they don't bug out. They can get easily parried, and each ability leaves you exposed. So you have to be really careful of when you activate these abilities. For example, the damage reduction of Heroic Might usually starts late and ends early, and that leaves you exposed. So if you're going to charge it up, make sure it's worth it, and make sure that there isn't a bunch of reinforcements or a hero waiting to melt you. Anakin's left ability is Pull Dominance. This is a powerful pull that brings enemies to you so that you can get a couple of easy hits on your enemies. It does 120 damage to non-heroes and 80 damage to heroes. It also has a decent recharge of 15 seconds. It's not that short, but not too long. It's a pretty good ability, and it's not very glitchy. The main con to this ability is that you do want to avoid it when using it against a lightsaber user up close. It makes it really easy to parry and get in 2 hits on you because of the long animation. Anakin's middle ability is Heroic Might. It does 120 damage to non-heroes and 90 damage to heroes. So it's pretty similar to Pull Dominance. It does have an 18-second cooldown, which is a bit longer than Pull. The main difference is, of course, that Heroic Might is a 360-degree push. This ability is best when it is combined with Pull. You can do a lot of damage with the two abilities combined. You also have to be very careful with this ability, or else you can lose a lot of health quickly with this ability. Anakin's right ability is Passionate Strike. This is a powerful lightsaber hit that can go through blocks. It's great for finishing off enemies and delaying enemy regen. It has 2 different strikes, one going up and one going down. The first strike does 70 damage to non-heroes, and the second does 180 damage to non-heroes. To heroes, this ability does 40 damage on the first strike and 130 damage on the second strike. So the main strike you want to hit is the second strike. This ability does a total of 250 to non-heroes, which is a pretty great amount, and it does 180 damage to heroes, which definitely isn't bad. I think most people don't understand the power of this ability, so it doesn't get used a lot. It also has a pretty short cooldown time of 13 seconds. The only con is it can also leave you exposed to lightsaber and blasters, especially if you miss the strike. Anakin does also have a 4th ability, the Legendary Retribution, except it's not that good in my opinion. It has a cooldown of you and your allies taking 2,500 damage, which can be a pretty long time. Damage reduction works most of the time, so at least there is that. It does 100 damage on the choke and 100 damage on the push to non-heroes, which isn't the best. It also does 75 damage on the choke and 75 damage on the push against heroes. Or in other words, one lightsaber swing. This ability used to be better, but it got nerfed quite a bit, so it can't do the same damage. So now we are getting into the most important stuff. Anakin and Galactic Assault and Supremacy. Anakin's abilities can allow him to roll through the enemy team. His main weakness, though, is the fact that his abilities can fail. Although if you play him smartly, then you can very much do well. For some tips for Anakin and Galactic Assault and Supremacy, what you want to do is make sure you push with your abilities. When you don't have your abilities, Anakin can get into some tough spots pretty quickly. When you do use Heroic Might, though, definitely try not to charge it up unless there are a lot of people. Basically, you can succeed with Anakin by just using his abilities and avoiding large groups at other times. Anakin has some decent star cards, and there are 3 cards that definitely stand out to me for large-scale game modes. The first card is Tenacious, which gives Anakin extra health, and it's definitely always good to have extra health. The next card is Massive Strikes. This card increases Anakin's lightsaber damage by a good bit and allows him to take care of most infantry in one hit. This is really useful. It allows Anakin to be able to quickly get through his enemies, and makes it really hard for his enemies to get away since all it takes is one strike to end them. The downside to this card is that it reduces Anakin's stamina, so with this start card you have to be even more careful. The third card is Raw Strength. This card is a must for trooper game modes and makes Heroic Might a lot more powerful. This card will increase the damage of Heroic Might to the point where you can one-shot most infantry with Heroic Might. If you don't have this card, every full health enemy will still have to be finished off after you use this ability, which can be difficult and dangerous. With this card, you can one-shot most people and you can get out of an area quickly without having to worry about finishing people off to get kills. Now, the best maps for Anakin Skywalker is Naboo, which is just a good map for him since there is a lot of cover, yet the map is open so you can usually take care of enemies one by one. This is very important for Anakin. The next map is Kamino, which is similar to Naboo that you usually aren't going to get overcrowded, yet it's not too open for Anakin to get kills. The last good map for Anakin is Jakku. This in general isn't a great map for heroes, yet I think the hilly landscape works well for Anakin's abilities. Anakin can also be great in hero game modes. He's not the best in duels and won't do great alone against a team, but with a good team, Anakin can do really well. His abilities work really well with the team and will help everyone around him to do easy damage. Anakin in hero modes is similar to himself in trooper modes. All his strength lies in his abilities. So when you play him against other heroes, you need to make sure you don't waste your abilities. If you land your abilities, then you can pull off a nice combo of pull, push, 2 lightsaber hits, and passionate strike. Against a hero, this can be almost 600 damage, which of course is really good. So try to make sure that you use his abilities at the right time when people aren't facing you blocking. For Anakin's star cards, I still like Tenacious because I just think you should always have extra health if you can take it. The next card is Fierce Fighter, which reduces the cooldown of Passionate Strike and allows you to use it more. It's always useful to have Passionate Strike around so you can continue doing damage and stop the regen of your opponent's health whenever they are blocking. The last card is Attraction. This gives Pull Dominance a greater range and can allow you to pull in more enemies and you can pull off combos easier. I also find a lot of heroes don't think they are in the range of pull and aren't expecting you to get them, so you can take them by surprise. This also helps against heroes that are running away, since it allows you to get them back to you much easier. The best heroes to play Anakin with are Yoda and Leia. Yoda's Force abilities work really well with Anakin, and Leia is the perfect high damage blaster hero to take down enemies that have been knocked down. So these would be the characters I recommend playing within Hero Showdown, and can also be good in Force. So Anakin is a good hero and definitely one who is very fun. Once you get his abilities down, you can do really well. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, then leave a like on this video, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe. I post multiple videos a week about Star Wars games, mainly Battlefront 2, where I go over tips, discussions, and some gameplay. That's all for this video. See you next time. Bye.